Hello, hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I have a new face with me today. I have Catherine. Both Eric and Omar are not able to attend today, so you just have the two of us. But I think you're still going to get a super great session, and we're very excited. I'm super excited that Catherine took time out of her busy schedule. She has a lot going on. I'll let her intro herself in just a minute. But as always, I love to hear about where everyone's tuning in from. Maybe I know in Canada there was a long weekend. Maybe say what you did on your long weekend. Catherine, what did you do on your long weekend?
I spent a lot of time with my sister, just trying new restaurants, enjoying the nice weather, spending a lot of time with my dog. So it was a pretty chill weekend for me, but it was so needed.
What is the holiday? Because I'm in the U.S., so I can't remember what the Canada holiday was.
I think it's more of like a civic holiday. I guess it depends on like the province; they might use it differently. But yeah, more of just like a civic kind of holiday.
Oh. We have someone from Arizona. Hello, hello, and hopefully, I have a couple of returners today as well. I will just give like a couple more seconds, and then I'll have Catherine intro herself in, and then she's going to kind of go over new updates and some new features. From there, we'd love to know about any topics that you would like to see or any features. Catherine's on our product team, so this is the time to ask any of those questions, and we're happy to do that. Otherwise, we have some other things we can cover. Okay, so we have someone who's the first time. Welcome, Ramona, and then Lisa from suburban Philly. Okay, so I'm not alone here in the U.S. I'm in Minnesota, though, so up north. All right. I will hand it over to Catherine, just to kind of intro herself, her time at Leadpages, and then we'll get into it.
Sure thing. So obviously, thank you for having me on today, Stacy. I've watched a few of yours with Eric and Omar. They're always just so good. You guys are so great at this. So hopefully I don't stumble too much today, but I would love to show you guys some things. I've been at Leadpages for 4 years now, mainly on the support side. So if any of you have reached out to support in the past 4 years, you might have gotten an email back from me, but I'm moving more into product. So I'll be working alongside Eric and the team to kind of work on improving the builders and the product itself. And my focus really is on trying to improve the experience based on what you guys actually want. So any feedback that you can give, I will take it to heart and I will try to implement it because it's really important to me to make sure that your guys' experience is good here. So the features that I'll be going over today are just more little improvements for like manual editing in the builder and things like that I think will be really useful to everyone. And of course, more improvements are on the way, but I'll just jump into it by sharing my screen. Okay, just one moment. There's always permissions I have to approve of.
Always.
Always.
Oh, we lost Catherine. I'm sure she's coming right back just for permissions. But yeah, sorry about the smoke, Lisa. It was not fun here. I feel like every year it's Canada giving the smoke, but this time it was our fault. I think it was the boundary waters were on fire. And then a lot of okay, perfect. We have Catherine back.
It looks like the permissions also quit my browser. So
I had a feeling, yeah.
Yeah, so I should be good now. So I'll just get into my account and hopefully it works this time. There we go. Let me know if everyone can see the screen. I think it's good, but
Yeah,
if at any point you can't see anything properly, just let me know. I can zoom in. I can go back. So the first thing that I did want to kind of show off for improvements would be some image styling options that we've added. So they're a little subtle, and but they provide a lot of flexibility, I would say. So within the inspect tool, we do have the border area, and we've always had this radius option, but now you can unlink it to adjust each corner of it. So this actually provides you with a lot of flexibility in creating kind of more interesting shapes within the page. kind of like so. You can play around a little bit and make some oblong shapes. The agent should sort of take into consideration a little bit if you are specific, maybe with kind of what kind of shape you're kind of looking for. But this is something that we thought was a small improvement in terms of we already had the radius option, but provides just a lot more kind of fluidity on the page because it gives you more options to kind of experiment. So that is one really fun thing that we've added. And the second would be this overlay option, if none of you have seen it just yet. So this is specific to images, and you can actually add a color overlay. So we had this in the classic builder, and now, of course, we have it here. But you can adjust the opacity, the color here, to create an interesting overlay color that you would want. And under the background option, oh, let me go. Sorry. No, it's in overlay. We've added a blend mode. So this will be more impactful if you have a color behind the image. So for example, if I take this span div and I try to maybe add a color to it, or let me try it again here. Oh, yeah, the opacity. I was like, why isn't it showing? My opacity was at 0, of course.
Of course.
Of course. And if I go back into the overlay option for this image, I'll have this blend mode. So this will kind of blend on top of the background color, or you can even add a background image to that thing that is behind the image as well. So that gives you kind of a few more options in how you can even present your images on your page. So just provides just a little more flavor, I would say. So I thought this was something, it's quite simple. It's been around for a while, but we're introducing it now into Leadpages. And I want more options for you guys to play around with the elements and images on your page. So there is more coming. And if there's anything you guys are looking for specifically, I would love to know. And
yeah, Omar, even though he's
a little bit.
yes, even Omar's not here, he's here saying love these shapes. I agree. I think it's just super dynamic when you're across a page, when you're like scrolling a page, you want something that stops, like gets your attention. This would be something that would get my attention.
Exactly. Yeah, there's so much fun you can have with all these shapes. I know in my pages, I'm always kind of using this to kind of create these like funky shapes. I just find it makes it feel a little bit more modern, I guess, because we're so used to just the straight circle, just the triangle. So I find this brings a lot of life to pages, even though it's such a simple change. And another thing that I want to show off, but I'll go into a different page here, would be the multi-step form option. So this is something that we've had a lot of Leadpages ask for several years, and we're finally kind of introducing a lot of these kind of more dynamic forms. So in a form setting, if you go to form fields, it's important to note that this is only on Optimize Plus, so you're not going to see it on Grow or below. But you have the option to create a multi-step form very easily and add as many steps as you like. So if I add a step to my form, I can now see that there are 2 steps. And I can even drag specific fields down into the second step or back into the first, and then even kind of scroll on Canvas to see what the steps look like for that end user. So this provides a lot of options, again, for you guys. We also have all of these custom fields like drop down, multiple choice. We have date now, we have long text. So we're trying to add as much as we can to make these kind of forms more dynamic for everyone. If you guys are interested in conditional fields or forms as well, let me know if there's interest in there, and we can start trying to work on that and build that out as well. But I thought this was a very cool new feature that we had, and the ability to even just simply drag and drop makes it just so much easier to kind of organize your content. So I thought this was very exciting. You can, of course, remove by removing the last step, or even just ticking this off, and all of the fields should come back under the same first step. which is so awesome.
For those of us have been here, like we've been here a long time, and so those of you who are watching that have been here a long time, just know that this has been a feature request that we've wanted forever, and
Mhm.
it wasn't as possible inside class. Well, it wasn't possible at all inside Classic, but it was something that everyone always requested, but we
Yeah.
just weren't able to add. But it's so exciting that it's here.
Yeah, it's the new product is just so much more flexible and we can ship things so much faster. So I think that's why we're so excited to get feedback from everyone because we can actually do all these things for you guys and support you the way that we've always wanted to support you too. So please don't hold back too on your thoughts. Another kind of small change that we've added, but I think could be so useful in just organizing your content would be that we've added a way to kind of rename all elements and sections on page. So let me see if I can. Yeah, if you double click on the name here, so there's going to be this label in this kind of like chip. If you double click that, you'll have the option to rename this specific thing. So this is where text is. I could maybe indicate that this is a form field. Not that I would necessarily need to call it just a form field, but let's go to a more applicable section. So I can double click the section. I can rename it. I'm just going to rename this one. Which section is that? Testimonial. So if I rename this and I can actually see it reflected in the inspect tool immediately. So I can see testimonial is up here and we can actually see it reflected in the layers as well. Let me, oh, it's actually in here. So am I clicking the right thing? No, I was not, of course. So if I'm clicking on the right section and I'm going to now general settings, I have the option to actually rename it within this area as well, and also adjust a link ID. So this should all be reflected, yes, in the layers panel. So if you are kind of trying to understand your content and how it's organized, you can easily just see things like that and understand where things are placed. And this will kind of unearth a lot more abilities in maybe understanding, like for example, I'm working on something currently where if you want a breakdown of who's clicking on a certain button on your page or who's opting into a specific form on the page, if you have multiple, we can now kind of bring this in to kind of break it down for you guys where people are actually clicking. So you have more insight into what is actually being clicked and you have the option to rename certain things. So I think that'd be super useful. And you also have the option to adjust the link ID to this page. So if you are looking to, say, if you're at the top of your page and you want to have the CTA jump down to a specific section or a specific element, you have that option within the settings now that you've created this link to actually link to that specific section. So now that we've named it, I think this one was called About, we can link directly to that area. So it's not just limited to sections like in Classic, but now you can link to specific elements on page to jump to that. So I think that is going to be super helpful. And we are kind of working on maybe adjusting how the layers panel is kind of visualized to help you have a better understanding of where things are and what things are, especially with like device specific elements or sections, if you guys have that set up. So that is something that is coming and being looked at, because I know this can be a little overwhelming to look at because you just see all these divs and bodies and you might not understand exactly what you're looking at. So we're going to be improving that experience as well.
You brought up, I'm putting you on the spot, but you brought up device specific display. Do you have any advice on using the platform for your different like mobile and tablet versus desktop?
I would say the new builder is quite responsive in terms that things are laid out quite well, I would say, per device. If you did want to have something maybe not visible or maybe only visible on a certain device, it is quite easy to go into these settings and enable that. even ask, I think, the agent as well. So under layout, you're going to see visibility here, and you can disable it for certain devices. And then, of course, if you want to pull up a new element, you can do so easily, or ask the agent to pull that up for you, and then manage the visibility through here. So the work I want to work on would be through the Layers tab, having more understanding of what in the hierarchy is actually only visible on a certain device. So that way you guys can always understand kind of what is on the page. Although there are clues. So if I just want to make this one invisible on desktop, there should be an indicator, this little chip that tells you that something is hidden, and hovering over it will reveal what that is. So that can give you some insight into if there are hidden elements on a specific device. But we can, of course, improve that experience so that it feels a little bit more easy to navigate as well. In general, I would say that compared to Classic, you do not have to make specific mobile or tablet sections. This is far more responsive. But if there just are certain elements that you only want a certain device, this is definitely the easiest way to do that.
Perfect.
Another thing, I don't know if it was mentioned before, but for sites specifically, we've added these little indicators, which will tell you if there are any changes that have been made to that page and it has not been updated. So this can kind of tell you the work that is in progress on your site, and if you do need to update your site at all, if you actually haven't pushed changes live. And this little indicator will resolve once you do update the page. So it'll give you an understanding of how that is working. And then we're also kind of working on improving the experience of full site-wide publishing as well. So you guys don't have to manually go into each page to publish or update things there. But of course, if there are pages that are in draft, you do not necessarily have to worry about that page going live if you are doing a site-wide update. Those draft pages would have to be individually published in order for that to be seen live. So there are some, it's going to be more like Classic in that sense, where you have more control over what is seen live and what is currently in draft. Another thing that I did want to show off, which is a very recent update. It is quite small, but we do have an option now to set a custom 404 within your site. So you can easily do that by going into the settings for a page to set as a 404, and then that page will then be seen at any invalid slug on that domain. So you have that option now, and we also have the global header and footer options. So within a site, if you click on your header, you are going to see an option to sync or detach the header from that site. So if you have a specific one in mind, you can always add that and make sure that it's applied globally. So any edits that I make to this header will apply across all of my site pages that are synced up with that same header or footer, which is a long time coming. We're going to be making a lot of improvements on just the feel of sites in general, to give you guys more control over the editing experience. I have one in progress right now that is giving more options for editing the navigation. So editing the layout, quickly or easily adding and managing nav links, creating submenus, creating what this layout looks like on mobile, quickly adding primary CTAs, secondary CTAs, things like that, that you can easily do without having to adjust things manually, adding links manually. So this will be coming fairly soon. There's a few things here and there that we want to make sure that you guys have before we ship that, but this is something that we are looking to improve on as well. Oh, I see a comment. Why would a 404 be used? So there are cases where someone might be visiting your site, but they might type in the URL wrong of the page, and you don't want them to see like a generic like 404 page. You want them to see like your own branded 404 page. So that way they can also just easily navigate back to your main homepage as well. So for example, I think this one's mine. So we can see here that it shares the same site header, so people can easily navigate back. But if I do change, say, the URL at all, it doesn't change what I'm seeing, because any invalid URLs are going to lead to this custom 404 that I have, so people don't get lost. How often are enhancements released? Quite often. We have a team that is releasing stuff all the time. But of course, every team member might be focusing on something different. We might be focusing on maybe just small improvements that may not necessarily be as noticeable. We might be working on improving the bugs that have come up, but we are deploying and releasing stuff quite often every day. So yeah, so things are happening very quickly all the time. Actually get worked on and released even within a week, within 2 weeks, very, very quickly. Oh, I'm seeing another comment. It's not showing it. Would you mind clarifying just so I can help out a little more?
And while she's clarifying enhancements, it's Catherine and I've been here for Leadpages for a while now, and before enhancements, just because of the speed of how things worked, were not happening as often as they are now. There's a channel that like talks about our deployments, and they're happening almost, it feels like every minute.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I wasn't sure if you were showing the site with the 404. Oh, so yeah, this is the 404 with my site. It's more if I adjust the URL here. So what I'm seeing is the 404 of my site. So this is kind of what I mean by how it's important to have your own 404, because it has your own branding.
I think it's not showing on the screen, so it's just still showing the Leadpages builder if you're
Oh
trying
my
to show.
gosh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's why. I'm
I
looking at
think
my
it's,
own screen, but that's
yeah,
so strange.
I think it's maybe just share the tab.
Wow, okay. That makes so much more sense. But yeah, if I'm only sharing, oh, no, yeah, it's only sharing the tab.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. Okay. I thought I was showing my full browser. But I guess if I can try to maybe explain here without crashing the entire thing. If I was visiting this page live, I'll just go into the preview as a little mock-up. If I take the URL of the page and I mess up the page ID, like the slug, the end part, no matter what, it's going to be showing my 404. So that's kind of what I meant by how important it is for that branding. Thank you for pointing that out, Stacy. I don't know. I
Yes.
should have been looking at our stream instead to make sure that everything was going okay.
Oh, I figured that it's, yeah, share your tab and then it doesn't show the screen.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Too used to Zoom.
yeah, I like on this 404 page too. Definitely try to like guide them into somewhere else, and you can have a little fun with
Mhm.
it. So that way they're just not
Exactly.
hitting a 404 page and frustrated. They can see like, okay, maybe I typed something wrong, and then it has them go somewhere else.
Yeah. And especially if you have, if you have certain pages live for a campaign and then you take them down, of course that specific URL is not going to be accessible anymore for that page. But that means they'll still be redirected to at least your site and your content. So it's a very useful thing to have. And even if you're not using a site template, you can still have a 404 kind of built in. So for example, if I target a page instead of a site, you can actually see that you have an option to add a custom 404 page if you do have one, and select a homepage as well. So the option is there if you're not even using a site, but for a site specifically, it is built in. So it just kind of gives you a few more options to do that. And if you are generating a new site, it should come with a 404 page already kind of there by default. So you don't have to worry about setting that up specifically. And try to think of anything else that I can show you guys today.
We have another question. How many sites can we have running at a time?
It would depend on the amount of domains that you have connected to your account. So generally, one site per one domain. So of course, you can't have multiple sites on a single domain. Kind of sites need somewhere to kind of look at and point at. So it's like because sites have a built-in homepage, that will be seen directly at the root of like the domain. So without that kind of page slug, you can't have multiple sites kind of targeting this one thing because you can only have one homepage, if that makes sense. But if you have multiple domains connected to your account, you can, of course, publish as many sites to them that you have as domains in the account. So yeah, depending on the plan that you have and the amount of domains that you have available, you can publish as many sites as that can allow.
And then another one, do we have to move all of our stuff over to the new Leadpages to use 404?
In classic Leadpages, if you are still using it, it has a 404 option as well. Our built-in site templates in the classic Leadpages builder have a 404 as well built in. And if you are only using landing pages, those also have an option in the domains tab to set a specific homepage or 404. So the functionality functions very, very similar to what you're seeing here.
I love this question that we just got. Said, hey guys, absolutely in love with Leadpages. Questions as the funnels option is released, any chance it can leverage visual workflow mapping to bring order to the chaos that is dozens and dozens of pages? Think ClickFunnels, Funnelytics, WordPress funnels, anything like that. Thank you.
I think there are actually plans to create more of these kind of visual builders for you guys. So yes, for sure. I think we're working on even options, even just for managing, your ads in this kind of visual builder way as well, where you can understand where things are connected. So yes, this is coming. I don't have an exact ETA on that, but this is something that we do want to focus on, is helping you guys build these funnels and build these campaigns to be able to properly see where things are flowing.
And then we have some more questions. So perfect. Keep them in, keep them coming. Is there any on-demand training available? I can answer that one. Currently, we always have these replays are available on our YouTube channel, and then on the previous week is always live on the office hours page for the following week. That said, we do also have a bunch of YouTube videos on our channel. I can link our YouTube channel that has it goes into breakdowns of different features. However, we are looking to add more of these on-demand trainings, so keep a lookout. It'll most likely live on our YouTube channel or on our marketing resources on our website, but I will link that. And then Lisa, she's nervous to move, but she will. Lisa, if you ever run into an issue where as you're using the new Leadpages, reach out to our amazing support team. They'll be able to help you and guide you to in the right way. And then another question, we have not had a chance to test the new system, but we have a ton of pages under the old editor. Will we continue to have access to both?
Yes, of course. You will not lose access to your classic platform or the new platform until we're very certain that you guys are fully supported in having all your content move over. We will not try to reduce or remove that platform until you guys are fully supported.
And then Sarah, she was here last time. She wants to know if there's any updates on lead magnets rolling out to all accounts.
I think we do have that set up now.
Yeah, I think there was an issue with hers not appearing. So I have your email, Sarah. Catherine and I can make sure that you're all set, because you're still not seeing it, correct, Sarah?
Interesting. Yeah, I can look into that after for you, Sarah. But within a form, there is an option in the settings panel to add a lead magnet here. So if you have one in the account already made, you can make one within this panel, but you can add a lead magnet to your form. So that is sent out from our system.
Ooh, 2 questions. I'm going to come back just to give you a heads up, Catherine. They're going to want you to do a tutorial of the A/B testing option. So if you feel comfortable doing that, it's so dang powerful. And then Lauren wants to know, all Zapier flows, they have to be redone on the new pages, or if there's any options for them?
So we do have a team dedicated more towards the migration aspect of moving content between the old and new platform. Currently, because the migration is still in process, they're still trying to improve that flow. If you do need Zapier currently on some of your pages in the new Leadpages platform, that would mean setting this up manually, unfortunately. But we do support a Zapier connection, which you can see in the integrations tab now. So there should be an option to connect to your Zapier account. And within Zapier, you'll be able to target all pages, specific pages. So unlike classic Leadpages where you just target a specific form, this will target pages, so you don't have to set up everything individually on each form. So this can be very helpful to reduce the amount of Zapier connections that you even have to make. But as for remaking them, we can check in with our team just to make sure that there will be no friction for that aspect, because I know how important it is to make sure that you guys aren't losing leads in the process of this migration, and that you guys don't have to worry about anything breaking too. So that is definitely very important to us, and I'll make sure to flag that to the team.
Yes, and then similar, they want to know, it sounds like they'll have to convert all their pages, which would be a ton of work on their part. However, if I don't want to misspeak, but the migration is making it possible so they will not have to redo their work, correct? Yes.
Exactly. I think when we first tried to roll out a migration tool, we wanted to provide the users the ability to move over the pages themselves, but we know how important it is to make this as frictionless for you guys as possible, which means that we're going to be handling all of that now, the pages, the assets, the images, the integrations, that all is going to be considered for that move, all the leads, all the analytics. So you guys don't have to worry about the work that it will take for you guys. That's off your plates now.
Yes. And then can it currently support multilingual landing pages?
Currently, we don't have that option, but I will write that down. That is a great point, and something that we've even seen a lot of people ask for in classic Leadpages as well. Of course, you can create pages in specific languages and have them shown at specific URLs should you need to have that. But if you are looking for more of just like an automatic translation option, that's something that we can consider adding as a tool that you can add to your page as well.
Ramona wants to know time frame for when the migration needs to be done by, but I don't know if we have a timeline. However, with the new migration, you shouldn't have to do any of the work, correct?
No work will be done on your guys' end. And yeah, there's not a strict timeline right now. I think the team is still trying to make sure that everything is okay before they even try to touch anything in user accounts. So you can sit tight for now, of course. But you can also continue exploring the new platform. So yeah, if you needed anything else, let me know. Features, I would love to know. As for,
I would. I know you said it doesn't have to be today, and we will do this. It's good to know you want to have a tutorial on it, but would you mind showing the A/B testing split test options that we have currently?
I can go over it briefly, of course. I'll go into this page here. So depending on the plan you have too, will involve different kind of split test options that you have. So I think on my test account here, I'm on optimize. So that will give me some different options that you might not have on Grow. So Grow will give you more manual A/B split test options. Of course, for anyone on any plan, your first goal is to actually pick what you want to judge the performance of the page by. So if you want it to be a button click, a form submission, that's important to set for your page. So if there's a specific CTA, if there's a specific form, you can mark that is your conversion goal for the page. You want people to be driven to this one thing, and that's how you can gauge which variation is doing better than the other. So if I add the goal here, I can choose a button click. This page doesn't have a form, but I'm going to use the button click option, and then select this to then save. So now that I have my conversion goal set, what I can do is create the sort of other variants for the page. So I could duplicate this page and edit that variant, or I could use a different page in my account that I want to test against. And for this one, I'm just going to do a duplicate. And you'll also notice here that for the optimized plan, it's only a two variant option currently. On higher plans, you'll have the option for additional variants and more options there. And you can also adjust the traffic split between the two variants, or even select smart traffic on the optimized plan. So this will automatically shift traffic towards a winning variant. So if our system notices that one page is converting more than the other, it's going to gradually work to shift traffic towards that one variant so that it makes sure that you guys are converting a lot more. So for this one, I will do smart traffic. And in order to start the split test, it's very important that you actually have to make an edit on the variant, because if the two pages are pretty much the exact same, you're not going to be able to start that test. It really wants you to make some significant changes to this page, even if it's just like the color of a button, in order to start the test. So I'm just going to kind of quickly do that. Change this color. And maybe change the color here too. So even something as simple as that does provide me the option to start the test. And from here, we can understand some of the performance of the page while the split test is still running. So also, it's important to update your page, make sure this is pulling through to the live page. But once everything is live, you then have the option to kind of see how many visitors each version is getting, whether or not they're getting button clicks, which we've decided is the conversion goal of the page. So this will help you determine what page is actually doing better. And it'll lean more towards the winning variant too, because I've turned on smart traffic. Once you're ready to declare the winner, and usually we would suggest this after a minimum of 2 weeks to make sure that you're getting some great data on your pages. Once you declare the winner, you can either decide to keep the control or the variant and keep that as the version that is seen live. So if I keep and publish the A variant, we can now see that that ends the split test, and I can continue on with doing further tests if I do want. If you are creating a split test 2, you can either, of course, navigate to the variant through clicking on what's here in the experiments tab, but there's also an option to navigate it to directly through this option here. So I can see which page I'm actually in, be it the variant or the control. The more variants that you do have, of course, you'll still be able to really pinpoint the amount of traffic you want for each page to really customize that. Smart traffic works as well. What is interesting on the higher tier plans is that on top of smart traffic, there's features to kind of continually optimize the variants as well. So it might make subtle changes to those variants on your behalf that it knows it will likely convert more. So it's kind of this almost like this little agent that helps you work with your split tests to make sure that you are getting a very optimized page. And of course, this optimized area can kind of review your page for you. If you do want suggestions, maybe on what exactly you should change on a specific variant, it'll make suggestions for, design content or even AEO to make sure your page is showing up within search there. This one is taking a little bit of time for me.
While it's waiting for that, we have 3 questions. I'll go just in order. Is there a way to change our URL slug?
Yes, of course. So within the settings tab here, you're going to see a lot of information about your page. You're going to see the domain that it's currently published to. This is the page slug, so by default, it'll give you like a string of maybe letters and numbers, but you can easily change that. So I'll rename this one to gallery since I'm on this page. And if I update it, that should kind of take effect. So I can see that the full URL is listed as well.
And then our next question is, if you're on Grow, when can we convert to Optimize? Not available on my account right now, as it's presently priced the same, but with more features. Question.
The optimized plan is available, but I might have to look into your specific account to see what the blocker might be there.
Lauren, I'll put my email address in there, and then I will tag in Catherine as well if you want to email us your account email so we can take a look.
Yeah.
And then, is there an MCP available that we can use to connect Leadpages to ChatGPT, Claude, etc.?
Yes, we have a couple users who really love this feature. So you can, yes, you can connect to Claude, ChatGPT. There should be an option within your settings to do that, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, there it is, under connected apps. So there is a document that you can visit, which will guide you through the exact process of connecting that MCP to your account. So you just need to use this server URL and follow the steps within that article, and that easily connects your LLM to your account, and that can actually help you create your pages, help you edit your pages. So you don't always have to rely on maybe manual editing or even just using the agent chat. So yes, that is something that we do have users using and are really loving so far. So I would love to get your take on it once you have that set up as well.
Great. I love all the questions. Seriously, keep them coming. We have about 15 minutes left. So with this time, I would love to hear from all of you as something you'd want to see. Catherine, is there anything you want to continue showing or?
I think that's all I had for today. I feel like I thought it would take longer than it would,
Oh,
honestly, to go through.
no. There's another question. So perfect. Is there an
Mhm.
easy way to create a blank template to work from?
Yeah, so sometimes what I would do when I'm creating a page is I don't think there is an option, but that is a really good point to have a blank template option. And I'll put that on my list as well. But sometimes if I just want a blank slate, I will just type in blank landing page and to create that page. So that is something that I've done, but that's a really good point to have that as just like a base start without having to necessarily type that in. So I will put that on my list as well.
While we're waiting for more questions, this is something I just wanted to, since you're already sharing your screen,
Mm.
Catherine, but something I want to point out that I don't know if people think about, or maybe you do, but going to brand kits, just I think when we're using the prompting, having your brand kit set is really going to help you when you're
Yes.
prompting and asking to create pages. It's going to help save your credits. So it's super, super helpful. If you go to create a brand kit, Catherine, you just want to go through, just want to use leadpages.com. I think that'll be,
Sure.
and then it pulls from your website. And so it's a lot of, it pulls it right for you and you can make some edits as it prompts. But I think it's a really great feature to utilize, and making sure as you're prompting new pages that it has this context in mind. Whenever AI has more context, it does better work.
Oh, yes, completely. So if you have your brand kit all set up, you can add your images, fonts, colors, all these things, and even tone of how you want maybe the AI to write your copy. It'll all take that into consideration. When you're going to the process of creating a new page, you can actually select that. Once you have a brand kit, it will show up as an option to immediately link to when you're creating a page. And even when, say, you've already created a page, you can go back in to then add a brand kit or apply it to your page. So you have that option for it to kind of readjust your page based on the fonts or colors that are already in your brand kit. And if you don't have one set up, you can easily go into your page and build one starting off from your current page. So if you like how something looks from your current page, you can easily set that up as its own brand kit to then apply to everything else.
Any other questions or things people want us to go over, or other questions you have? Catherine and I here. Catherine's working on the product every single day, so this is a good opportunity to ask. Is there any other? I'm trying to think of any other features that I think are not used as much. Is there anything you could think of? Go through. Yeah, just brand kits. We talked about lead magnets last time. Maybe you want to just showcase analytics a little bit. I think that's
Sure. So, of course, analytics are just going to show maybe the traffic of your pages. This overview will show you just the of all your pages together. So I mean, this is my little account, which doesn't have much action on it, but I can see the top pages here, and it'll tell me the trends of this page too. So that way I can see how things are kind of evolving over time, the conversion rate over time, the scroll rate. So if users are only navigating to maybe a certain point on your page and then quitting or leaving, you'll be able to understand that context a bit more. And we're going to be working on improvements on giving more context into the scroll option. So instead of saying 46% of your page, we might provide a way to tell you they stopped at this specific section. So that can kind of give you an understanding of, is there something on your page that users kind of stop at and then leave? So something that could be improved on with optimization or split test to see, is it because they don't like the specific section? Is it the pricing section that they're stopping at? Providing that context is going to be super helpful in you guys understanding and improving your page. So this is something that we're going to adjust even in the analytics so that you guys have more context there. But you'll also be able to see how much people are visiting your page based on if they're on mobile or desktop. So you can see which device is actually leading the traffic to.
We have another question for you. Can you have a section in a page that you can copy that it's on its own, and have a page so you can drop into every or many pages? So kind of like testimonials, like having a section that you can just reuse.
So we do have an option quite similar to that copy paste in classic Leadpages, if some are aware, but for this one, it's more your saving sections. So if I like a particular section, this might be an easier option rather than copy and pasting. But you have the option to actually save a certain section. So now it's going to be saved to my library here. And once it's saved, I'll be able to then drop it on any page that I want. If you go to add here, you're going to see at the very bottom some saved sections. So if I go here, I now see that I have this saved section that I can apply elsewhere. So I'm just going to maybe go into this page here and see if I can drop it down. Oops, went to header. There we go. I forget what that looked like.
I love
it's all white.
It definitely put in there, but yeah, similar to what was in here already.
But yeah, it's exactly. If you are trying to add a section to your page, it's really just a drag or drop that you can add that section anywhere else. So this is a way that you don't always have to keep going back in and out of pages to kind of copy and paste all the time. You can just save things maybe all in one go and then go onto a new page. But if you are looking to kind of maybe even have similar pages, you can even just duplicate your pages too, if you want to start from that kind of basis and then just adjust some of your content too. So that is, of course, another option that you guys have.
Something that's great that might not apply to too many users, but when you're bringing up the duplicate and like things, is that you can move org. So if like you have multiple organizations on your account, you can move pages. What I love to use that for is I create them in my own Leadpages account, and then I move it to our like main marketing account, so I can build without like it's like get it perfect and then move it over to where I can use our marketing domain. But if you're working with, like, if you're an agency, for example, and you're working with clients and they're attached to your organization, you can create the page, get all your edits, and then move it over to their account, which I think is
that's
great.
So helpful. If anyone's curious, that option is in the settings here too. So on my account, I don't have too many orgs, but if I did, I could then easily just move it through the options here. So an org is just easily as that account adding you as a member to their org. And then you can easily move pages in between both of them. But there still is that share option. So if you want to share a template with anyone, with any account, you still have that option here to send them a link so that they can have that template in your account, which is really just a copy. It's not going to be your template. It's just a copy of what you've made so that they can then build on that too. And you can even see how many people have actually used it, which is a very interesting feature that we have now. So you can see and verify if they have added it to their account. And if you don't want it to be active anymore, you don't want to share anymore, you have that option to make sure that it's not shareable. So that is something that is a new feature with like the sharing links that we have in the new Leadpages platform, but I find it's so helpful, especially if you want to maybe limit access to that template you have or just see the activity on it.
Well, I would like to know, where can I host the page/app?
So you have a default kind of preview subdomain with Leadpages. So if you don't have a custom domain, which is what you add to the account, you can register with the domain provider. If you are on a paid plan, you also have the option to claim a free domain through Ionos for up to 1 year. So you can have a custom domain add to your account that is full of like more of your branding. But once you have that domain itself, which is like what you type into your address bar so people can see your page, then you can host your page online. But if you do not have your own custom domain, maybe you're not ready for one yet, there is the preview subdomain that we have. So I'll just go into this one here. So this one is on the preview subdomain here, and you'll see it's on pageslpcontent.net, and it'll reference my account too. So Catherine testing. So this would be the URL of this page. So one thing to note too is that because this is a preview URL, there is going to be a banner that says that this is more of a preview page, like a staging URL. So that's why it's important to have your own domain, just to make sure you're hosting your content and it's full of your own branding as well.
I definitely agree, especially as you're sending people to your pages. It just looks more credible, especially if you're using meta ads or any kinds of ads. It's very helpful for that. Otherwise, you might get flagged.
Yes, exactly.
Wonderful. We only have a few more minutes left, so any other last-minute questions, send them our way. Catherine, I'm so appreciative that you took time today out of your busy schedule to kind of go over the new features and walk through some of the new functionality of editing. I know that's something that's been asked for, so I really appreciate it.
No, thank you so much for having me today and being so patient.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Lauren says, great session. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Lauren. If you guys are looking for specific features that you don't have in the builder now, now's the time to tell me so I can add to my list and start working on it for you guys too. So even if it's something small, even if it's something big, I would love to know.
Yes, now is the time. Okay, we'll leave a few more minutes as we're waiting. Maybe yeah, put what you, if sky was the limit, if you could add any other feature, put it in the comments.
Yes, and maybe I'll show up that optimize page too.
Yes.
So I'll save this goal just to kind of show you what the system is kind of detecting and what it thinks you can optimize as well. So I'm going to let it review my page, and then it'll give me options for adjusting maybe page content, just so the SEO and AEO is a lot better too. So it'll give you a score. It'll tell you how the page is performing. And then you can work to enact those changes, which is something that we've had a lot of users use and really seem to love so far. And it's really helped a lot of people even boost their conversions. So such a helpful tool. I would say it's, if anyone's coming from Classic, it's like the lead meter, but 1,000 times better. And it's always kind of optimizing too. That's the best thing about it. It is constantly trying to improve your page and understand. So we can see here my base page that I haven't really done anything to. Does need some work, but it will also give me the option to make those changes. So I can immediately read on what it thinks I need to change, read into it a little bit more, and then I can actually have it apply that change for me. So I don't necessarily have to make all these manual edits myself. I can if I want, but it allows me to kind of optimize my page very, very easily. And it will even give me options, I think, to create a split test based on a specific CTA copy that it thinks that I need to do as well. And if you notice here, I think I touched on it briefly with split testing, but there's this auto optimization option with the higher plans that'll make these changes for you. So it'll optimize without you necessarily having to go in and enact those changes too.
Someone, I wish it said your name. It just says user. I think you're on YouTube, but it said you've made online tech too easy. Thank you. So thank you.
No, it's crazy how this platform is really, really so easy to use, and it's so quick to build things out. And of course, we're trying to just try to make it easier and easier for you guys. So if there's any friction points, anything that's confusing to you, that's where we can help to try to have make it very clear and improve the experience too. Be it, if you guys want more videos, if you want more info tips in the builder, if you think something should be placed differently for visibility, like that's what we want to do for you guys.
Yes, absolutely. And then I say this every time. I have the world's most simplest form that I would love. Oh, question why I'm grabbing that. Are there optimization suggestions related to conversions or core web vitals?
So because this is like an AI tooling, it is taking from pretty much both. It'll understand the performance of your page itself and what is actually working for your page. If you have gotten conversions on a specific variant or a specific page, it'll understand that. But it's also taking from just what are the best tips currently online? What is it seeing that is actually converting? So these are not just specific to your page and how it's doing, but it's taking from a more general optimization kind of tips and tricks.
Perfect. And then I just put the form in there. It's a very simple form, but just to hear feedback for the session today, what you'd like to see going forward. We're always taking that under consideration as we're thinking about what topics and who we bring in. So again, thank you all so much. We have a couple more minutes, but thank you all, and thank you again, Catherine.
No, thank you so much, Stacey. It was so nice getting to chat with everyone. I love seeing everyone's comments. So if you guys have anything else that I can help with, just let me know.
Yes, one more minute, but this has been super fun. I love when it's a lively chat and all the questions. It makes it super helpful. And we're here for all of you. Like, we want to make the session the most helpful. Like, we know Leadpages backwards and forward. Catherine probably the most of anyone. And so, but it's helpful when you all talk about what you want to see.
Yes, exactly. Accessibility guidelines, compliance. Oh, that's a very good point. I don't think we have that specifically within our optimization feed right now. I think it does, of course, take into things like the visibility of text against a certain background. So in terms of that, it will try to improve that overall experience to make sure that people can read and access your page properly. But we can definitely add more improvements towards making it apply to those compliance laws, or not laws, but rules as well. So I will add that too.
Great question.
No, that's super helpful. I know that's very important for a lot of people to make sure that their content is accessible to everyone. Even to those who are colorblind. So I totally get it.
Oh, thank you. So keep up the incredible work. Thank you.
It's too sweet.
Very sweet. All right, we are at time, so we will see you all next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.